Is your home truly a sanctuary? Or perhaps, is it but a field of incense where spiritual forces view for dominion over your peace and the well-being of your loved ones? What if the key to transforming your dwelling into an impenetrable fortress of faith lay a simple yet profound, powerful object, a metal that Padre Pio himself deeply revered and championed? Prepare to discover the extraordinary truth about the metal of Saint Benedict and the astounding protection it promises, not merely for yourself, but for the very fabric of your domestic life. For centuries, this humble sacramental has been a beacon of hope and a shield against malevolent forces for countless fightful. Yet its true power and specific ways in which it can safeguard your home remain a mystery to many. Today, we delve into the spiritual wisdom of St. Pio of Petrusina, a mystic and schematic whose life was a testament to having faith and relentless spiritual warfare. Padre Pio, not for his piercing spiritual insight and his constant battle against demonic influence, did not merely acknowledge the metal of St. Benedict, but implicitly advocated for its use, recognizing its potent effect in protecting individuals and, crucially, their living spaces. His life, marked by profound co-occurrence with both divine grace and diabolical oppression, makes his understanding of saints' sacred tools exceptionally authoritative. He understood that the spiritual battle is not confined to the individual soul. It extends to every corner of our existence, especially where we seek solace and safety. Our homes. Imagine a spiritual barrier, invisible yet impermeable, surrounding your walls, your homes, your very threshold. This is not a fanciful notion, but a tangible reality for those who, with faith, employ the metal of Saint Benedict. But what exactly happens at home when this powerful metal is present? We are not talking about superstition, but about a deep theological truth rooted in centuries of church tradition and affirmed by the experiences of countless saints, including the Holy Padre Pio himself. This is not just about warding off negative energy. It is about invoking the direct intercessory power of Saint Benedict, a man whose life was dedicated to ordain chaos, establishing spiritual discipline, and confronting the forces of evil head-on. His prayers, and the very image on this metal are infused with a charisma of protection. Padre Pio, with his extraordinary spiritual senses, would often perceive the presence of evil and the urgent need for spiritual remedies. He knew that the home, as a primary unity of Christian life, is often a prime target for spiritual attacks. Discord, the loonies, financial hum, despair, these can sometimes be more than just unfortunate circumstances. They can be the simple machinations of malevolent spirits. This is when metal of Saint Benedict steps in, acting as a spiritual detain, a sign of Christ's triumph over evil, and a constant prayer for divine intervention. It is a silent yet eloquent declaration of faith, asserting that your home belongs to God and is under his divine protection. Think of the symbolism etched into metal, the cross of Christ, the words of Exorcism, the image of Saint Benedict himself. It remains a prayer, a statement of defiance against darkness. Padre Pio, through his own spiritual struggles and victories, recognizes the profound significance of these sacred symbols. He understood that tangible sacramentals, blessed by the Church, become conduits of grace, empowering the faithful in their daily walk. His advocacy for saintly devotions was the basis of a mere tradition, but on a living, vibrant experience of their effectiveness. He suffers from the freedom and peace that came to those who embrace the tools of faith. In a world in which we are defrauded with anxiety and spiritual malice, the sanctity of our homes has never been more vital. The constant bombardment of secularism, the erosion of traditional values, and a pervasive influence of digital media can simply invite spiritual disquiet into our living spaces. This is why the insights of Padre Pio, particularly concerning the protection of the home, are so incredibly relevant today. It means to us that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of vicariousness. The metal of Saint Benedict, placed with your home, vertebrating the foundation, affixed to a doorway, or simply kept in a sacred space, serves as a constant vocation of divine protection, repelling that which seeks to our end foster in an atmosphere conducive to prayer, peace, and spiritual growth. It is a tangible reminder of the spiritual armor available to us, a prophetic expression of trust in God's providing care. So, as we explore the subsequent ways in which the powerful sacramental functions, Consider the peace of mind that comes from knowing your home is consecrated and protected. Imagine the subtly shifted atmosphere, the reduction of strife, then creating harmony. This is a promise, not a magic, but a faith in action, amplified by the spiritual authority of saints like Padre Pio, who live and breathe the reality of the spiritual realm. The question is to vita your home needs as protection, but why you might delay in grasping it. The answer lies within the profound insights of Padre Pio and the enduring power of the medal of St. Benedict. The core of the medal of St. Benedict's extraordinary power, as understood by the Church and profoundly affirmed by Padre Pio, lies in its nature as a sacramental, a sacred sign instituted by the Church to prepare us to receive the fruit of the sacrament and to sanctify different circumstances of our lives. This is the magical charm. It is a tangible expression of our faith, a vehicle through which God's grace is annihilated, and the powerful vocation of St. Benedict's intercession against evil. Padre Pio, a spiritual warrior who directly combats the demonic forces within him, understood this reality with a parallel of clarity. He did not just intellectually grasp it, he experienced it. Consider the very design of the medal itself. On one side, you find the image of St. Benedict holding a cross, the very instrument of our salvation, and the Holy, which broke the order of Angel Linisto Count de Sue. But look closer. Next to him, you see a broken cup from which a serpent emerges. This depicts the moment rebellious monks attempted to poison St. Benedict, but through the power of the signing of the cross, the cup shattered, saving his life. On the other side, a raven is shunking away a poisonous loaf of bread, another for it attempted to take on the saint's life. These are not mere historical anecdotes. They are profound symbols of St. Benedict's victorious struggle against evil, a victory not through his own strength, but through his own faith in Christ and the power of his cross. And on the reverse of the medal, perhaps its most potent feature, a cross flanked by a series of latinicles. These niches represent an ancient prayer of exorcism, a direct command to Satan to depart. CCF, for crux sacra sid me helix, may the Holy Cross be my light. And NDC, for non Draco sid me hydux, let not the dragon be my guide. These are not passive statements. They are powerful declarations of spiritual warfare. And the words around the perimeter, the medal of St. Benedict, with the cross at its heart and the prayers of exorcism etched upon it, perfectly embodies this truth. Renew that the spiritual realm is not abstract, it is intensely real, and the tools of faith are truly effective against the forces of darkness. His own life, full of extraordinary mystical phenomena and constant battles against the infernal, served as a living testament to the efficacy of St. Sacramental's empresshood with genuine faith. So, when you place this medal in your home, what happens? You are not just angling a decorative item. You are actually invoking protection of St. Benedict, aligning your dwelling with the power of the cross, and, most importantly, inviting the grace of God to permeate every corner. The medal acts as a constant, necessary prayer. Imagine, as you go about your day, sleeping, working, spending time with your family, this little medal is silently, powerfully praying for your home, for its sanctity, and for the expulsion of all evil. It is a continual spiritual barrier, a sacred bonder. This means that with your home, an environment becomes increasingly hostile to negative influences. Arguments may lessen, an atmosphere of peace may increase, and temptations that once felt overwhelming might begin to lose their grip. Padre Pio, in his wisdom, understood that evil preys on violence, on division, on despair. By having the medal of St. Benedict present, especially when blessed by a priest with the source's prayer, you are actively countering the spiritual attacks. You are fortifying your domestic church, making it a place where grace flourishes, where prayer is fostered, and where the presence of Christ is deeply felt. This is not a passive act. It is active engagement in the spiritual battle with the church and its saints standing with you. Are you ready to witness the transformation that the holy faith, powerfully manifested through the sacred medal, can bring to your home? Beyond its foundational role as a sacramental, the medal of St. Benedict offers something profound and practical and immediately relevant to your daily life. Something Padre Pio himself demonstrated through his constant awareness of the spiritual battlefield, active protection against specific views that threaten your peace and the sanctity of your home. This is not just about general spiritual well-being. It is about attacking the defense against the very real forces that sex through discord, despair, and desire in our lives and in our domestic spaces. Think about it. What troubles you most in your home life? Is it persistent arguments, inexplicable misfortunes, or perhaps an ignorant sense of unease? Consider the insidious nature of spiritual attacks. They are rarely manifested as dramatic, Hollywood-esque possessions. More often, they are subtle despairs, persistent temptations, or a gradual erosion of joy and harmony. They might appear as chronic fatigue, inexplicable anxiety, or as soothing for a part of one's faith and family. Padre Pio, with his unparalleled spiritual discernment, understood that the seemingly mundane stories often have their spiritual reward. He often advises people to pray in the sacraments, and to use blessed objects as means of warding off these uncertain aggressors. The medal of St. Benedict, therefore, is there just a symbol? It is a shield designed to deflect these very real arrows of the enemy. The words inscribed on the medal are not just ancient Latin phrases. They are living prayers, active denunciations of evil. When you place this medal in your home, you are not merely reeling on a piece of metal. You are invoking the power of the exorcist prayers it contains, prayers that have been sanctioned by the Church for centuries. Vade retro satana begone Satan is a direct command, a spiritual eviction notice to any malevolent entity attempting to infiltrate your sanctuary. This is where the profound connection to your life emerges. Imagine a persistent Negro boar who constantly tries to cause you trouble. You might put up a fence, install security cameras. Spiritually, the medal of St. Benedict acts in a similar yet infinitely more powerful way. It is a spiritual bond-maker, clearly stating, these spaces consecrated to God. Evil has no claim here. But what about those moments when you feel overwhelmed, when the pressures of modern life seem to crush your spirit, even within your own foot walls? Have you ever felt inexplicably uneasy at home, or found that arguments escalate for no apparent reason? This is where the proactive protection of the medal comes into play. It does not just repel. It creates an environment conducive to grace, where light enters, darkness recedes. The presence of the blessed medal of St. Benedict fosters an atmosphere where prayer becomes easier, where peace can truly take hold, and where family bonds can be strengthened without the simply undermining of evil influences. It encourages virtues like patience, understanding, and forgiveness, virtues that often seem to disappear when spiritual attacks are at play. Padre Pio's life was a testament to enduring hardship, not just from human opposition, but from a constant diabolical harassment of his main mentor. Yet, through it all, his unwavering faith coped well with his devotion to the cross, and the sacraments allowed him to triumph. He implicitly taught that we too, in our own similar battles within our homes, are not left defenseless. The medal of St. Benedict offers up protection against poisoning, against dangerous life and limb, against diseases, and even against the vials of the devil that seek to distort truth and spread falsehoods. This comprehensive protection extends to livestock and crops, a reminder of St. Benedict's solstice for both the spiritual and temporal well-being of those under his patronage. So, perhaps you are wondering, what is the catch? There is still one. The power does not come from the medal itself, but from the faith of the person who uses it, from the blessings it receives, and from the intercession of St. Benedict. It is a tangible reminder that God provides us with tools, sacramentals, to navigate the spiritual landscape of our lives. By embracing the medal of St. Benedict, you are not just adding another item to your home. You are actually embracing profound spiritual heritage, reinforcing the spiritual foundation of your family, and inviting a layer of divine protection that can dramatically alter the atmosphere and events within your family. It is a simple yet profound act of faith that unlocks extraordinary graces. The credibility of the medal of St. Benedict and why Padre Pio held it in such high regard is the simple basis of tradition or personal anecdote. It is the epilogue to the centuries of verified spiritual efficacy and the official sanction of the Catholic Church. This is not just about what someone believes happened. It is about what has been documented, witnessed, and affirmed across diverse cultures and historical periods. When we speak of its power, we speak from a place of robust historical and theological support, a foundation that extends far beyond individual experiences to encompass the collective wisdom and miracles and events within the Church. Consider, for instance, The sheer volume of testimonies collected throughout history, detailing specific instances of protection from poisoning, natural disasters, demonic oppression, and even physical illumination, from the early Middle Ages, when Saint Benedict himself lived and worked miracles, to countless accounts from later centuries, the consistent narrative is one of divine intervention mediated through this humble object. Monasteries folded under the holy office of Saint Benedict often attribute their preservation during times of plague or war to his powerful intercession and the use of the metal. These are, in turn, a lot of incidents, but a recurring pattern that built the metal's reputation for protection long before modern spiritual movements. The formal approval of the medal of Saint Benedict by the Holy See, for that solidifies its credibility. Pope Benedict XIV, in 1742, officially approved the medal and granted indulgences to those who were introduced it with devotion. This papal endorsement was not a trivial matter. It means the Church, in its wisdom and discernment, recognizes the genuine spiritual value and efficacy of the sacramental. It was temporarily tolerated. It was elevated and encouraged, signaling its profound importance for the faithful. Padre Pio, as a loyal son of the Church, would be acute of value of this historical and ecclesiastical back, strengthening his own conviction in its power. His reliance on Saint Sacramentals was always within the framework of the Orthodox Catholic theology, never straying into superstition. Let's pause here for a moment. We've explored how the medal of Saint Benedict acts as a powerful sacramental, infused with prayers of exorcism, and how it actively protects your home from septic views, fostering an environment of grace. What if, merely by placing this small blessed object in your home, you could dramatically shift the spiritual atmosphere, making it a true heaven against the growing darkness of the world? This is not just a theoretical question. It is an invitation to consider a tangible step in your spiritual journey. While I did not explicitly ask about the medal of Saint Benedict in every meeting, his entire life was a living testament to the principles embedded in the medal: reliance on the cross, defiance of Satan, and of a vain trust in God's protection. Those who are close to him, his spiritual children, often reported his implicit endorsement of using blessed objects for protection, understanding that these tools were extensions of the Church's fight against evil, heralding nearly blessed deities, including crucifixes and other sacramentals. For his penitents, knowing the spiritual warfare deficit, the medal's power aligns perfectly with his own spiritual battles. It is a tool for spiritual combat, precisely what Padre Pio valued daily. Think of the resources of our team who continue to use the medal of Saint Benedict as part of their ministry. These priests, who come from demonic forces directly, attest to its effectiveness in driving out evil spirits and protecting individuals and places. Their professional, consistent experience under the strict guidelines of the Church provides ongoing, contemporary validation of the medal's power. It is not a relic of the past, but a living, active instrument in the spiritual arsenal of the Church today. This continuity of use, from Saint Benedict's time to Padre Pio's and to modern uses, paints a clear picture of its enduring credibility. Your home deserves this level of protection, hoarded centuries of proven spiritual warfare. Our exploration of the medal of Saint Benedict will be completed without addressing a crucial nuance, one that Padre Pio, in a profound militia and practical sensitivity, would certainly emphasize. The medal's power is the automatic, nor is it a substitute for genuine faith and a life living in accordance with God's will. This is a common misconception, a subtle trap that can diminish the true spiritual efficacy of the sacramentals. Some might mistakenly view the medal as a magic charm, believing that simply possessing it will solve all problems, regardless of the spiritual disposition. This perspective, however, misses the profound, cooperative nature of grace and free will. Padre Pio consistently taught that our spiritual efforts, our prayers, our reception of the sacraments, and our striving for holiness are indispensable. The medal of Saint Benedict, therefore, acts as an agent of faith, a powerful tool for protection, but is still independent, isolated force. Its power is activated and amplified by the faith of the individual using it and by the blessing of the Church. Without faith, it remains a piece of metal. With it, it becomes a conduit for immense grace. This is a vital distinction, preventing us from falling into superstitious mindsets and ensuring our understanding firmly in Catholic theology. Think of it this way. A good, effective medicine, prescribed by a skilled doctor, won't kill you if you refuse to take it or if you take it without believing its ability to help. Similarly, the medal of St. Benedict, a powerful spiritual medicine from the Church's treasury, requires our active participation. It is a constant reminder to live a sacramental life, to frequent confession, to receive Holy Communion virtually, and to engage in daily prayer. Padre Pio's own life exemplifies this. His miracles and his spiritual strength flowed from his intense prayer life, his deep union with Christ, and his reverent obedience to God. The medal supports such a life. It does not replace it. It is an unexpected lesson the medal teaches us. The ultimate protection for our homes and our society found out that it is an object, but reveals us in our relationship with God. The medal, then, becomes a tangible sign of that interior spiritual disposition. It challenges us to reflect. Are we truly inviting God into every aspect of our lives? Or are we just looking for a quick fix? The medal of St. Benedict does not grant license for compassion. It calls us to the pair of vigilance and greater faith. Another nuance involves a proper veneration and placement of the medal. It is not about giving it away or treating it like an idol. It should be placed respectfully, perhaps promoting locations within the home, above doorways, in the corners of homes, or bearing the foundation. Its presence should serve as a constant visual reminder of our faith and the protection it invokes. Moreover, the medal should indeed be blessed by a priest using the specifics of his prayer of St. Benedict. This blessing is not a mere formality. It formally consecrates the medal, imbuing it with the Church's authority and the special intercession of St. Benedict. A priest, acting in persona Christi, channels the Church's power to mark the medal an even more potent instrument of grace. Padre Pio, a priest himself, fully understood the significance of this priestly blessing and the spiritual authority behind it. So, while the medal of St. Benedict offers extraordinary protection, it is true power blossoms when coupled with a living act of faith and a commitment to Christian living. It is not a magical talisman, but a blessed instrument that, when used with devotion, connects us more deeply to God's grace and to the powerful intercession of St. Benedict. It becomes a constant, tangible sign of our reliance on Christ's victory over evil and a beautiful expression of our desire for God's presence in every corner of our home. This understanding, deepened by the wisdom of saints like Padre Pio, elevates the medal from a simple object to a profound spiritual aid for the journey of faith. Ultima Thela, the profound lesson of the medal of St. Benedict, reinforced by the unshakable faith of Padre Pio, culminates in this powerful truth. It serves as a tangible reminder of God's active presence and benevolent sovereignty over our homes and lives, transforming them into the paws of his kingdom. This is not just about warding off evil. It is about providing the divine grace to flourish, to exalt and uplift your domestic sanctuary. Padre Pio, who lives in constant communion with God, understood that the ultimate purpose of any spiritual is to draw us closer to Creator, to conform our will to His, and to establish His reign in our hearts and homes. Consider the spiritual landscape of our world today. It is increasingly volatile, often hostile to faith, and filled with distractions that pull us away from what truly matters. In such an environment, the Christian home is more than just a dwelling. It is a domestic church, a vital cell of the larger body of Christ. This is precisely where the medal of St. Benedict feeds each of the Epes Mini. By placing it in your home, especially when it has been blessed with the specific prayers of his horses, you are making a bold public declaration, even if only visible to the spiritual realm, that this space is dedicated to God. You are invoking protective shield, yes, but more importantly, you are raising a standard for Christ within your own four walls. Padre Pio, with his burning love for God and Jesus, dedicates his life to bringing people closer to Christ. He saw the devil's relentless efforts to drag souls away from salvation. The medal of St. Benedict, in this context, becomes an instrument of evangelization within the home itself. Each carefully, yet powerfully, testifies the reality of the spiritual, would end the triumph of Christ's cross over all darkness. It encourages the perseverance of the spiritual dimension of our daily lives, prompting us to pray, to seek God's guidance, and to live in a way that honors His presence. This medal does not just block evil. It attracts grace, fostering an atmosphere where virtue can thrive, where familial love is maintained, and where peace can truly take hold. Think of the practical implications. When moments of tension arise, when despair tries to kill, or when euphoria challenges our faith, the very presence of this metal can serve as a potent spiritual trigger. It reminds you, and potentially those around you, that you are not false industrials alone. You are under protection of Saint Benedict and Ultima Thule, under the loving providence of God. This is not about blind faith. It is about a well-folded confidence in the intercessory power of the saints and the church sacramentals. It is about remembering that even in this storm, God is overreaching. This final point truly brings everything together. The medal of Saint Benedict is a just and powerful sacramental, a shield against septic evils, or an object authoring solid church history. It is, above all, a catalyst for consecration, a means by which you explicitly and intentionally consecrate your home to God. This act of consecration is a profound statement of the trust, an acknowledgement that all good comes from Him, and that troops and security are found only in His divine embrace. Padre Pio understood this in Ultima Thule. His entire life was an act of consecration, a living sacrifice offered to God. He knew that when we give ourselves and our homes fully to God, His blessings flow abundantly, and His protection becomes absolute. Therefore, as you consider bringing the medal of Saint Benedict into your home, recognize that you are not merely performing a ritual. You are participating in a truly spiritual tradition, joining countries for a future good history, and following the implicit guidance of saints like Padre Pio, whom the story of the full reality of the spiritual affair and the indispensable tools God provides. You are making a powerful statement of faith, declaring your home a sacred space, a beacon of Christ's light in a world that desperately needs it. This is the ultimate promise, a home transformed, not by magic, but by the tangible power of God's grace, made accessible for the cherished sacramental,